Hello everyone. Welcome to Master Mains PYQ program of NEXT IAS. We are back again with another question of internal security that was asked in UPSC CSC Mains 2023. I am sure the question that we are going to discuss today, you all might have seen the question in my last discussion video where we talked about winning of hearts and minds in terrorism affected areas of the country. And you might have already written the answer to that question and submitted for free evaluation. If you are yet to write it, kindly write now and submit it for evaluation. Let's discuss the question of the day. The question says the use of unmanned aerial vehicles, that is UAVs, by our adversaries across the borders to ferry arms, ammunition, drugs is a serious threat to the internal security. Comment on the measures being taken to tackle this threat. And it was a 10 marker which was to be answered in 150 words. If you look at this particular question, the question talks about UAVs and the threat posed by them. This question basically caters to the subheading of security challenges in border areas of your internal security GS3 syllabus. Basically, if we look at this particular subtopic of security challenges in border areas, and if we analyze the past year papers of UPSC, you will realize that this has been one of the major topics that UPSC often covers in internal security. If we look at the 2020 question paper, you will realize that UPSC asked about the trans-border crimes across Myanmar, Bangladesh and Pakistan borders in 2020. Again in 2019, it talked about how the cross-border movement of insurgents, it is a threat to the internal security of the country. Even in 2016, it talked about border management, that how it is a task basically given the various factors like terrain and everything. So security challenges across border areas has been one of the favorite topic of UPSC that it often asks time and again. So, and this is a very easy topic. Basically, India shares a large border with many countries. So we just have to focus on various issues across those borders and the measures taken and what more needs to be done. Before we start with the solution to this particular question, let us discuss briefly the approach to this particular question. See, while writing or while following the approach to any particular question, you have to focus on IBC model. I hope most of you are obviously by now aware of this IBC model, that is your introduction, body and the conclusion. So if we talk about introductory part for this particular question, so my intro can be the central theme of the question is UAV. So either we can go by the definitional approach that we can define what a UAV is in my introduction, or the better part is that in GS2 and GS3 questions, wherever possible, try to go by some facts. Then in my body part 1, we will talk about the first demand of the question, that is why and how these UAVs are a threat to the internal security. So we will combine this under a single subhead because that is just a 10 marker, that why and how these UAVs are a threat. Then in body part 2, we will talk about the next demand of the question, that is measures taken. And finally, we will conclude our answer on an optimistic note where we can also talk about way forward or some optimism, that certain strategies, some international best practices or something like that. So this will be my brief approach to this particular question. Once this approach is ready in your mind, it is basically very easy to go about writing a particular answer because we are very sure that we won't miss on neither any explicit or any implicit demand of the question. UAV, that is unmanned aerial vehicle, or we also call it a drone. What is a drone? A UAV is basically a powered aerial vehicle that does not carry a human operator. It is a powered aerial vehicle. Basically, it is free of a human operator. That is what makes it a UAV. That is unmanned aerial vehicle. It uses aerodynamic force to uplift the vehicle, as well as basically it can carry a lethal or a non-lethal payload, and it is also referred to as eyes in the sky. Eyes in the sky. So this can be my brief definitional approach to start with my UAV answer. That an unmanned aerial vehicle, that is powered aerial vehicle that does not carry a human operator. It can carry a lethal or a non-lethal payload, and it uses a aerodynamic force to this power a vehicle lift. If I don't want to go by this definitional approach, I have some recent facts by Border Security Force, that is BSF. BSF, which guards international borders of India, it recently gave a very fascinating fact in one of its report that the drone sightings in 2022 were 268, which were even more than double of what were there in 2021, that is 109, and almost 5 times of 2020, that is 49. So the drone sightings across the international borders of India that were seen by BSF were have increased from 49 in 2020 to 109 in 2021 and 268 in 2022. So this data in itself is a fact to show how big this menace for India has become. So this could have been my particular fact to be used in my introductory remarks. Basically, these smart low flying objects, have you ever thought why are they gaining so much of prominence, or why are they so basically fascinating for these adverse elements sitting across the borders? Because they are capable to evade these law enforcement agencies. They are not detected so easily, and whatever task is being assigned to them, be it your drug delivery or your arms and ammunition delivery or even a terrorist delivery. You might have seen recently in news there was a event when a UAV, this drone, was used to even transport a terrorist from one location to another. These are so efficient that without getting detected, they perform their task so easily. And basically, this menace of UAV is not just limited to India. If we talk about conflict in the global space, then in 2019, I hope you all remember that it was an attack by Yemen's Houthi rebels. Yemen's Houthi rebels, what they did? They attacked Saudi Arabia's oil company Aramco. This basically triggered alarm bells across the globe. It was a swarm of drones which devastated the oil company of Saudi Arabia. If we look at some other examples where this drone uses has been in news in the at the global space, we had this Western Libyan conflict in 2019, and also we can talk about this Armenia Azerbaijan conflict of 2020. And the most recent example before you is the ongoing Russia Ukraine war, where you might have seen the usage of drone is on its peak. So basically, when it comes to global conflict, it is not just limited to India. Across the globe, whenever there is a conflict, we find the usage of drone is on its peak. So this could have been maximum about the introductory part that we could have written. It was not even necessary. Basically, introduction has to be limited to 20, 30, 40 words. So it was not necessary to put in these global examples in your introductory remark, but you need to know about these global events. Why? Because the evaluator, the examiner who is looking at your sheet, he or she should be aware of the fact that yes, you are aware of the ongoing facts that are the things that are going on in your surroundings. You can very well use these examples anywhere else in your answer writing process. Next, if we come to the body part 1, the body part 1 talks about why plus how are these a security threat to India. So the first point can be that they disrupt a public event or a critical infrastructure. Basically, when they can evade and they are not easily detected by the law enforcement agencies of the country also, so they are very well capable of disrupting any particular critical infrastructure. The best example to put forward to basically justify this point is the attack on Jammu and Kashmir Air Base. The Jammu Air Force Base was attacked in 2021. It was one of those UAV only which dropped 2 IEDs on this Jammu Air Force Air Base. So basically, it was a disruption to the critical infrastructure of India. So these UAVs have that capability that without getting detected, they have the capability to destroy any particular public event or a gathering or a critical infrastructure of the country. The next can be these are difficult to detect. Why these UAVs are so difficult to detect? See, unmanned aerial vehicles are small. So they are having smaller radar cross section. So when this radar cross section is very small, they are also having very small acoustics. They does not generate too much of acoustics. They are very low in noise. So it is very difficult for these modern radars to detect these. Even if we use infrared or optical cameras, their visibility is so low that it becomes very next to impossible for these agencies using the modern equipments also, till the point they're very close to their potential target, it becomes very difficult to detect them. So that's why they're so capable of hitting the target. The third point that we can talk about is that arms and ammunition smuggling. That is what our question was also talking about. Basically, there was a news that a UAV was seen basically in this Jalandhar district of Punjab. It was carrying arms and ammunition to be delivered across India's border. So basically, we have even seen in Mexico-US border, the adversaries are using this UAVs to basically deliver arms and ammunitions. Why? Because this is the easiest and the best possible modern technology to deliver any possible contraband across the border. You are just sitting at one particular location, you want to deliver arms, drugs, cash, terrorist. This is the best route in present time for these criminal events. The next point that we can talk about is your drugs trafficking. You will be amazed to know, if we go by a report of BSF highlighted in one of its report that there is anecdote evidence to highlight that 1 kg of heroin that cost around $6,000 in Pakistan, once it enters the territory of India, $6,000 is what I was talking about. That a 1 kg packet of heroin which cost around $6,000 in Pakistan, once it enters the territory of India, it costs around $1,20,000. And if it enters the metropolitan cities like Delhi and Mumbai, you will be amazed to know the cost. The cost of the same 1 kg heroin packet becomes out to be $6 lakh. This is the motivation for these criminal elements to basically deliver arms, ammunition as well as drugs with the help of UAVs. The next point that we can talk about it, that even if they are detected, it is too difficult to shoot them. Why so? Even if the agencies are able to detect them, it is too difficult to shoot them because of their so small size. So this is again a big hurdle in their basically management. Sixth is surveillance and espionage. See, these are so small vehicles, so small instruments that they can intrude into any particular official building, any particular event. They can do the surveillance, they can notice the officials' positions, they can respond it by lively. They are using live cameras, they can respond, they can deliver each and every possible sensitive information to those criminal events sitting across the borders. So this surveillance and espionage is another factor that makes them a bigger internal security threat for a country like India. Next point that we can talk about is terrorist threat. As I talked about the incident where a terrorist was being basically routed from one particular location to another with the help of a UAV, in the Poonch terror attack of 2023 April 20, you might have seen that where our 5 soldiers were also killed, that cash as well as arms and ammunitions were being delivered to these adversary elements with the help of a UAV. So terrorist threat is one of the major security threat for India that these UAVs are posing. So in short, these are some major things by which the use of these UAVs, which see, these adversary elements are making use of these UAVs by because it is simple, easy, comparatively cheaper also, because Chinese made drones are so easily available in the market. It is comparatively easy also. It is no more a trend of that conventional warfare. Right now is the time of hybrid warfare, or even a kind of warfare where you need not to enter your enemy's territory to threaten them. You're sitting back at the comfort of your home and you're just launching a terror attack from there. That makes it more hostile and more adversary for a country like India. Next demand of the question talks about the measures taken. So body part 2 will talk about measures taken by the government in this regard. So the first measure that we can talk about it, drone rules of 2021. It basically talked about commercial use of drones. It was directing the use, the surveillance, the basically licensing, etc. of the drones. Under drone rules of 2021, we have to talk about digital sky platform. This was a new initiative. What was done under the digital sky platform? The digital space was divided into 3 zones: yellow, orange, and red. Given the fact that where you need a licensing, where you do not need a licensing, so it was just done to make the drone flying easier. Next, we can talk about that the perimeter of the airport was reduced from 45 kilometers to 12 kilometers. Then there was no licensing required for micro drones that were used for non-commercial purposes. So this was one of the major step taken by the government in this direction. Second step that we can talk about is naval anti-drone system. This is India's first indigenously made anti-drone system. It has been developed by DRDO. It has the capability to go for both the kills, that is hard kill as well as soft kill. What is this hard kill and soft kill? Basically, hard kill is when you just directly want to shoot a drone and you want to destroy its parts. Soft kill it when you are playing smartly. You're going for signal jamming. You're disturbing the movement of the particular drone that was intruding into your territory. So this naval anti-drone system that has been developed by DRDO, it has both the capabilities of that of a hard kill also and that of a soft kill also. Third step has to be DRDO's D4 system. What is this D4 system? Drone, detect, deter, and destroy. It is being used by all three forces, Army, Navy as well as Air Force. What they are using this DRDO's D4 system to destroy any particular drone within a radius of 4 km. So this is another big achievement in this direction which is helping India to deal with this menace of drones. The next point that we can talk about is that India in 2022 it banned Chinese components. Chinese components for what? For our own drone manufacturing. Why so? Because we want to basically go for data privacy and everything. So we banned the import of Chinese components to be used in our own drone making process. Fifth measure that we can highlight is anti-rogue drone committee. What is a rogue drone? A rogue drone is something like a malicious drone which has some ill motive, which has gone out of control. So basically, Ministry of Home Affairs, in collaboration with this Director General of BSF, they formed this committee to highlight that how can we counter this rogue drone, and what are the efficacies of countering this rogue drone, and how can we achieve success in countering these rogue drones. Next measure was Indrajal. What is this Indrajal? It has been manufactured by one of Hyderabad based startup. It is India's first AI driven anti-drone system. It ensures 1000 to 2000 square kilometers of aerial safety. That it can ensure that an area of 1000 to 2000 square kilometer is very safe from any of the aerial target that is coming towards India. Next, we can also talk about Smash 2000 plus system. India has procured this from Israel. Indian Navy is using it. Basically, they are deploying it over the assault rifles for hard kill purpose. That is directly destroying a drone that is coming towards our own country. There are various other measures that have been taken by BSF. Like one is the participation of local police. Like in Punjab, local police of Punjab has deployed more than 3000 personnel for safeguarding the borders also, and basically to tell the community about the importance of this all drone management overall, so that if any drone delivers any particular contraband, be it arms, ammunition, drugs across the borders, the local communities are very well aware of the fact that this might be a case of drone delivery. So they can highlight that, they can basically bring it under the notice of the authorities. Next is private sector participation. With the help of MeetI under Startup India Hub, it basically went for Bhumi challenge. What was this Bhumi challenge? BSF high-tech undertaking for maximizing innovation. So what BSF was trying to do? BSF was trying to explore more and more evolving technologies, how we can counter these particular drone challenges. So BSF has also come up with, BSF is one which is guarding India-Pakistan border. So BSF is in direct basically reality check with what are all possible challenges that are being given by a drone. So it is coming up with various other measures that are basically being so effective in countering the drone menace. Another one was this forensic laboratory. See, drones which are being destroyed by India or which are being captured, they are being analyzed in this forensic laboratory of BSF, which was built in Delhi, so that we can basically come up with a solution, and we can also know the path, the route, the manufacturing of those drones, and we can highlight, we can basically form our future trajectory. BSF is also using kinetic means. What kinetic means? That it is using directed energy or launching projectiles to basically disband the route of those drones that are trying to intrude into our own territory. It is also using some other physical means. BSF is also using certain physical means by training the local people, so and the local nets to basically trap the drones. It is training local people as well as nets, and it is using both of them to trap the drones that are coming to their way. So these are certain measures that have been taken by the government as well as the BSF, Indian Army, and also this public private sector association, which are in the same direction that we have to counter the drone technology, especially the adverse drones that are trying to intrude into our own country. The United Nations Security Council's Counter-Terrorism Committee, it is also paying special focus on the misuse of drone technology as part of its broader focus on the challenges posed by new and emerging technologies. In its Delhi declaration, in its October 2022 meet, it basically tried to come up with, it talked about to come up with non-binding guiding principles that can help countries to come up with various policies that can help prevent any major drone attack in their particular territory. I think this was all about your body part. If we have to conclude our answer, we can conclude the answer on an optimistic note. How we can conclude that India's drone policy, it basically needs continuous evaluation. It needs continuous evolution. How? With the help of international inputs and collaborations. See, this is high time when India needs to basically make continuous evolution in its drone policy. And that is only possible when we take help of international inputs, international guidelines. And to also remove the fear of embedded malware in India's drone sensors, we have to push indigenization. Indigenization not on a single platform, but on both the sides, that on platform side also and on the sensor side also. The more we rely on our make in India product, the less there will be a fear of any Chinese trap, any other particularly adversary trap. When we are importing Chinese components to be deployed in our own drone making process, that is always a fear. Basically, we have certain examples from the past where we have seen how those Chinese components became basically so hostile for us. So drones are the future. We have to accept this fact that drones are the future, and India needs to follow a proactive facilitative approach, but be also cautious of the security implications of these drones. See, when this drone industry is getting more accessible and more cheaper also accessible, and it is the future, so these issues are also going to increase, but that does not deter us from also taking advantage of the drone, because these are having so many great applications in the civilian area also. So it is high time that we basically awake to the challenges that are being posed by the drone industry, and we take certain steps in the right direction. Most of the steps have already been taken, some of more steps, and we can counter these adversaries in the best possible way, be it either through a hard kill or a soft kill or a combination of both. That is all about this answer. So basically you can easily write, you have enough content to write on this answer in 150 words. If you find the video useful, do like it, comment on it, and share it with all your UPSC aspirants so that even they can take advantage of this particular lecture. Thank you. Hopefully we will meet in some other video. Have a good day.